Hi. So tonight I'm going to be making some like bagel breakfast sandwiches for dinner. I've been having a lot of chicken lately, so I kind of wanted a little bit of a break. I do not actually buy bagels from the store anymore because I've since learned how to make them. So tonight we're going to be making protein bagels, and I think I'll probably just kind of cook up some eggs and maybe a couple pieces of like turkey meat or something to have with it. Everybody kind of wants something different tonight. Colin's eating noodles. Gianna wants a little pizza. So this is what we're doing. And this recipe is super easy. So in this bowl, I've already got a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. And to that, we're going to add 1 cup of Greek yogurt. And this recipe actually makes 4 bagels. So I think I'm going to need a little bit more than this. So a cup of Greek yogurt. And I'm using the Faye 2%. We seem to like this, and this is what I had in my fridge. So I'm gonna add this, and we're basically just gonna mix all this stuff together and bake it at 375 for 20 minutes, I believe. So, okay. So get all of this in here. And to this, we're going to add about a teaspoon of baking powder. This is going to help it rise. 1 teaspoon. Right into the bowl it goes. There. Okay, and now this is kind of the base for, I feel like, most of these protein bagel recipes. You can add a little, and then you can just add whatever you want to it. So I am gonna add some cheddar cheese, and because we actually had some jalapeno cheddar bagels the first time I made them, and they came out really good. Put a little cream cheese on there, and they're delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and add about a half a cup of cheddar cheese. I'm gonna eyeball it here. It might turn out to be a little bit more, but I'll just use the rest of what I had in here. Okay, and then you're just gonna mix this all up. This is kind of what it's looking like. It's really crumbly. Now as the weather's getting nicer, our weeks seem to be getting much busier. Kids are doing science fair projects coming up, so we got to work on those. They want to play outside all the time. People are just getting busier in general. So finding time to record is going to be a little bit difficult during the week. We're kind of like go, go, go. All right. So it's looking kind of like this. It's really crumbly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get my hands in there, and I'm going to kind of mush everything up. Okay. I want to say this is how I did it before. Pretty sure it is. Okay, so I'm going to just get in here. Kids are upstairs playing. I tell you, when they play together and they're in the mood, it's really good. But then, you know, they're siblings and they're pretty close in age, so when they decide to argue and fight, it's not fun for anybody. But for now, that they are playing great upstairs, so we're gonna take it. So this dough is coming together. There's still some like flour at the bottom of my bowl that I'm trying to kind of smush into this and incorporate it. So this is kind of like what the dough is looking like. but there's a bit of flour on the bottom that I'm trying to get in here. And I'm thinking that with the warmth of my hands, it might help everything kind of like stick together. It's not a very sticky dough that you're making. Okay. Everybody kind of wants something different for dinner tonight. Colin just told me that he does not want noodles and butter anymore, which he originally told me. Now he wants an English muffin. So I'm just like, you know what, fine. I'm not going to argue with anybody. Gianna's been like really obsessed with those little make your own pizzas, and she just likes plain cheese pizza. So I just have like a little non-flatbread, and I'll just warm that up in the oven, put a little sauce, put a little cheese on it, and put it back in the oven to bake until everything's just kind of melty, and then slice it up. And she loves that. Okay. So all right. So now our dough is looking kind of like this. It's not super sticky, but it's holding together, and that's what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide this into 4. So this recipe makes 4. Let me grab my little cutter thing here. Oops. So I've got my little bench cutter, bench scraper, whatever you want to call this thing. We're going to divide this dough into 4. And when you're making these protein bagels, they're not going to come out exactly like if you're looking for a true bagel, right? Like doughy and soft, and it has a bit of a different consistency. It's a little bit denser, and they're not as like fluffy. I don't know how else to explain it. It's not like bread. It's, I guess if you want to think about it, let me see. Think of like when you go to Panera or something, and there's like, you got the bread bowl and you get the little top. It's kind of like that kind of consistency. So, I mean, but they do have a lot of protein in it, so I'm gonna go with it. And they're easy to make, so why not? All right, so I'm just basically doing this here. I rolled it into a ball, and then I just kind of like am poking a hole in the middle. Now these are going to actually rise and fluff up a bit, so you might want to make the hole in the middle a little bit bigger. And boop, that's what we've got. So I'm going to put this on a baking sheet. And you want to space them out a little bit. Like I said, when they start to rise and puff up, you're going to want to have a little bit of space for them to do their thing. I mean, then there's like a ton of good recipes for protein bagels. People put so many cool things in it. I have a friend, and my best friend actually just made some protein bagels and was sort of my inspiration for these bagels tonight. She said that she made a cinnamon swirl bagel and some everything seasoning bagels, and I was like, oh wow, she got fancy. But when I was thinking of what to make tonight, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna copy you tonight and make some bagels. All right, this is my second one. It's funny, I always forget to take a picture of my final product whenever I go ahead and record. I think we get so excited about actually eating stuff that I forget to take a picture. I am definitely not one of those people that takes a picture of their food when we go out to a restaurant. I just like to dig in. All right, there's number 3. Got one last one here to make. And I mean, these are pretty good sized bagels too, so, you know, I mean, they're not huge, but I'm actually really like a bagel that's too big. I feel like it's a little too filling for me. All right. And this is my fourth one. So we're gonna put these guys down here. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands. So we've got our 4 little bagels here, and I'm actually just gonna drizzle these with a little bit of olive oil because I feel like they're kind of getting a little stuck. So do a tiny bit of olive oil, just enough. Just did a little drizzle, and then I'm just gonna flip them over so the oiled side is down. I just don't want them really to stick. That's pretty much the only reason why I'm doing this. You know what? Let's do this. Flip them back over. I mean, I suppose you could also spray your pan, but we're just gonna do that. All right. Now, I am gonna follow suit, and I'm gonna get fancy. So I bought, there's an everything bagel seasoning. It's Asiago cheese flavored. I got this at Aldi's. And then I have the everything but the bagel sesame seasoning blend from Trader Joe's. So you know what, we'll just do 2 and 2. I don't really think that they taste much different, but let's put a lot of seasoning on it. Get some flavor. Okay. Not there. Now let's go on with the Trader Joe's one. And you can't even notice the difference really, and you look at it. And actually, all these has different flavors, I noticed. So I just got the Asiago cheese one, but they think they have like a, I want to say that they have a jalapeno one, and there was like another one that they had, and I was like, well, it sounds interesting, but I was like, you know what, we're trying it for the first time. Let's go with like something that's safe. At least I knew that was safe, but I really wanted to try it. Let me put a little bit more on here. It's maybe too much. Okay. So this is what we're looking at. It looks delish. I'm gonna go pop this in the oven at 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes, and I'll show you what they look like when I'm done. So the bagels just came out of the oven. They were in there for about 25 minutes. And they look and smell absolutely delicious. As you can see, they rose quite a bit. So can't wait to have these for dinner.